Good morning. Let's see if we are going to be on Facebook today or not. We definitely are on YouTube. Oh, nope. Facebook's not going to do it again. So that's okay. We're just going to keep rolling on YouTube and we're not going to worry about it. But we will get that figured out. And I apologize to anyone who's trying to catch us on YouTube. We're new to the whole streaming on both platforms. And so we have a little bit to learn, and I have some amazing tech fairies that I know are going to help me figure that out because I can't figure that out on my own. So Mix It Up Monday, welcome. If you come on, I would love to know that you're here. Say hey, and I'm going to just start right into the design that I had planned for this particular morning with you guys. And we're going to talk a little bit about our weekend. We had a blast exploring the basics and making some fun backgrounds and different things throughout the weekend. And I have some exciting news for those of you who enjoyed that and want to do a little more of that with us. The doors are open to the Mixed Media Design of the Month Club. So we're going to do a little drawing today. I'm going to incorporate, this is a background from our Three Little Birds design. And then I'm using the feathers from our Grateful design to create a new layout and new design. So we're going to make a cool little banner. And I'm just gluing these down decoupage style, glue underneath, glue on top. And then I'm going to try some copper paint to just paint sort of a string for the banner. Hey, DM from Trinidad. Nice to have you here. So glad you're on. So this weekend, we spent some time creating a few backgrounds. I'm going to give you a little recap on that while the glue is drying for these. We'll talk about those backgrounds, and I have one more layer to peel. So those of you who were with us this weekend for the Mixed Media Basics, we just had a couple little sort of teaching sessions where we went over some of the basics of mixed media. The way we do it inside the mixed media headquarters, it's not necessarily the only way to do it because there are lots of ways to do things when it comes to mixed media and other design type work, anything in art. There's a lot of freedom, but so I'm gonna show you the little background that we were layering. So if you were with us, you know we were kind of building on a couple techniques, and so you can always catch that. You replay though, where both of those, the replays on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you want to catch the replay, you can do it there and see what we're talking about with Mixed Media Basics. And I almost have this glued down very quickly. Very easy to do. All of our Design of the Month Club designs come with a little template, something that's really easy to assemble. So I hope you will hang out with us in our creative community and catch little things. We're going to talk a lot more about the basics. There's so much to learn, and we're going to, cover it all little by little. The cool thing about the Design of the Month Club is, everything is put together for you there. And so you can easily create something. You can easily execute a design and have a finished product to get you rolling in mixed media. So here's our little feather banner thing to start. We're gonna let this glue dry for just a sec. I'm gonna talk about these other two backgrounds. Well, actually, I'll give you a little recap of the weekend. So if you want to go back and catch those videos, we did this cool little water background and we added some texture on this plain background with a brayer, and that was kind of fun. My little wheel fell off of this because I didn't take the time to glue it on properly, but we combined a couple of backgrounds from previous designs. This was this was actually originally a water design, and we just changed it up and made it a night sky. And then this is done with fabric and paint, and you can catch all of that on the replay for the background bonanza that we did. And then this was our third technique. And this one, I went ahead and put another layer on. So we're kind of big on doing watercolor techniques but we employ acrylic paint so that we can glue on top, just like we did with our feathers here. If this was watercolor, this would have moved all around. All the color on this background that was built, all the texture would have just smeared with the glue. So that's why we use acrylic paint. You can also seal if you're in love with watercolors. Before you glue, you can seal it before you glue. But this was a fun technique, and I built a whole second layer on this one. This is the one that I showed you on Saturday, and I added another layer. And then this one I layered as well. And so that's the other cool thing with this background technique, doing it with acrylic paint. We can keep layering it, and it's not going to upset the layer we already have going on. When acrylic paint dries, I mean, it's not so permanent that, if we soak this canvas and let it sit, I mean, it's a water-based acrylic paint, but it's not going to move around if we put another layer on top like it would if it were watercolor or gouache. Gouache is kind of, if watercolor and acrylic paint had a baby, it would be gouache, because gouache is more opaque like acrylic paint, but it's water soluble like watercolor. So with gouache or watercolor, these things would smear. So I can keep building, and you can see this is achieving some really fun texture for just a simple background. And we're all about processes, and this is a fun process. So engaging in a process for your background, highly recommend it. It's fun, but sometimes, you just want to get the background down and you want to keep it simple. So we have a combination we use a combination of different types of backgrounds, because, they serve different purposes. So I'm going to actually now I don't know, I have a couple things I might try. This is just a metallic dimensional paint, which I probably will employ, but I want to try this copper first. I just like the color of this, and I'm just going to see if I can paint. Metallic paints are typically not opaque, and my glue is not completely dry. Normally I would let my glue dry completely, and actually the glue might help this paint have a little better viscosity across the canvas. But I'm just going to create a connection between these feathers, like they're hanging on a string. And I want you guys to help me decide. I want to add a word. I don't want to be too crazy with it, but I just want to add a word up here. And of course, the obvious word might be thankful or grateful, but I was kind of thinking of something a little different. I'm going to have a little play in this line, but it's not super slack line, so it's holding the feathers, which are not weighty things, so it doesn't have to be really taut. It doesn't have to be a tight line, but it also can't be completely wavy all over the place, unless it's blowing in the wind. I guess that could happen. But so this is what we do on Mix It Up Monday. We take our design a couple designs that we previously used inside the Mixed Media Club. I'm actually going to go over my feather to make it, look like the feather's actually threaded in there on that one. I don't know if you can see what I did there. So I just made it thread through. And I probably should be doing that with every single one. So as we're working during the process, we discover things that we didn't know we were going to do. So I think that's starting to come together. It's kind of fun. And I want your advice. You guys can tell me in the comments what word I should use. And we're going to do something a little different today on Mix It Up Monday because we just finished doing the basics over the weekend, and we had some wonderful folks that participated in that. And we're going to do a little drawing. I have a prize, a fun prize. And I also have a request to share some ideas on using one of the items that's in the prize. So we're going to do that as well in just a second here. But the main thing that we're focused on, if I haven't said it already enough times, is we are into the process and how beneficial engaging in art processes is for us. Just the way it quiets your mind. It's a great therapeutic process. It's every bit as good as any kind of physical exercise for stress release. It's wonderful. Your brain actually gets into something similar to a meditative state of relaxation in your mind when you're engaging in art processes. So we highly, highly recommend it for that reason. I'm going to just slide this over here. So y'all can help me out with a word. I may add it during this time together, but I may wait till a little later. But so here's the prize that I'm getting ready to draw for. And one of the gals in the live over the weekend asked for me to share about using these. These are from a company called Scrapaholics. Absolutely love them. You can get chipboard. They're chipboard. They're pre-cut, and a lot of you guys have the technology to do this at home, which is amazing. But Scrapaholics has a great selection, and they're a small company. I love supporting small business. And you can find them at Scrapaholics. Scrapaholics.com, I think, is the address. I'll link it. But it's amazing. And so they are chipboard. So they're going to drink your paint up. They're porous. So if you want to use alcohol ink or watercolors even on these, you would want to seal them first with like a clear gel medium, or even your Mod Podge would work for sealing them. You might get a little texture with your Mod Podge, whereas a gel medium is probably going to even out and give you a little more smooth texture. But these I hope you can see them. I actually did a little painting on these, and these are little foil pieces where I used an adhesive and transferred metallic foil, and those turned out kind of cool. And these will find their way into something that I create, but the possibilities for using these chipboards are really great. I mean, you can, if you seal it, if you just paint it without sealing it, the paint or ink or whatever you put on it is going to probably bleed a little bit. You're not going to get real clean lines. But once you seal it, you can get some pretty clean lines. And I'm going to go ahead and draw for that now. So I've got all my names, very old school here. I don't, we're still a very small operation, and I couldn't use my computer to make the little spinny thing going around because I'm talking to you on it now. So I just went old school, and so I've got all the names in here, and I'm just going to pick one right now. You guys are going to watch me open it. My kitty, it just entered the room for the excitement. Michelle R. So Michelle, congratulations. That's exciting. So Michelle is gonna, I think she's working today. She's gonna catch the replay, I'm sure. And Michelle, you can just catch me on Messenger or just DM me to give me your mailing address. Actually, I think I might have Michelle's mailing address because I think she has won a prize before. So that's awesome. So I'll be mailing these out to Michelle, and I usually throw in a few other fun goodies, but that I don't have any word suggestions yet. So I'm going to give it, I'm going to actually go ahead and let me see if a word comes to me. Actually, the word that keeps coming to me is, in light of current events, is the word peace. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and put peace here. And I'm going to make it kind of small. And I'm going to put a period at the end. So I'm just going to, I don't know if you guys can see that. So every Monday, you can catch me live here on YouTube and hopefully eventually on Facebook as well. And we're going to be mixing it up. So I'll share some fun ways to use our designs in different ways than they were originally published. All right, so I'm going to make sure so I'm going to space these letters quite a bit. I set myself up for some pretty big spacing. But I love trying new things. Every time I create a design for the Design of the Month Club, I end up doing several versions. It just always works out that way because the process is just fun. And once you get started, you won't want to stop. You may have to because life keeps us busy doing other things. You can see I'm not being too particular on keeping these in a special lovely font. I do enjoy doing lettering and spending a lot of time on it, but I'm going to keep these super simple and easy. And I'm just kind of using a similar spacing. The beautiful thing is our eye will correct it if we don't get it just right. And that's just always our saving grace. And the cool thing with using acrylic paint or just art in general is I could paint this, and if I'm not happy with the way the letters turn out, I can completely go over it with something else. I can create something to go here that has words. I could paint the background over again at the top if I wanted to. And I am going to try to keep my E similar to the first one that I painted. And we will think peace today. There we go. Nothing fancy, but just another way to use these. Our Design of the Month always comes with a background design, background technique, I should call it, and then template, some kind of template or something to add to the front. So a lot of the decision making is done for you. The supply list, everything's included. So it's a great way to get rolling. And hopefully you will also think about continuing to join us here in the creative community here and also on Facebook, where I'm going to share a lot more about organizing supplies, anything that you guys want to learn. I've some of the things that I can offer from my own experiences, definitely working in a small space and just finding the time, making the time, organizing supplies. So I'm going to help you however I can, because I really believe in the benefits of taking the time to engage in art processes. So that's what I have for you today. The doors to the Mixed Media Headquarters Design of the Month Club are open. I'm going to probably add some more to these, and I'll post that. I always post that later because, you guys probably don't want to hang out with me for a couple hours when I spend time on something, but it'd be great if you wanted to. So let me know if you do. But I'm just going to give you a little snippet to kind of hopefully inspire you to keep going and creating. And if you would like to know more, keep coming back, subscribe, and like our page so that, and maybe follow, because I think even then you may not actually see the stuff on Facebook. But one thing on YouTube is if you subscribe, they'll let you know when I do something fun. So thanks for being here. And I'll see you next Monday. And watch for the next podcast. It's going to be about organizing supplies in small spaces, which is my expertise. So I'll see you there. Have a great week and think peace.